Rosalina has her hands up.
We actually haven't started the meeting as officially yet, so let's hold hands until we actually get started. If it's a technical question or regarding the Zoom, then the participants can chat to Will, but otherwise we will take questions once we get started. Okay, my clock is showing 6:30, so I think we will get started. So I want to say welcome everybody to the Street Life Committee of Community Board 8. My name is Abraham Salcido. I chair this committee for the recording. It's Tuesday, October 5th, 6:30 start time. A few rules of the road before I hand it over to Will for the technical rules of the road. So I will go through the agenda items. I will invite each applicant to come unmuted and state their name and tell us a little bit about the application. I will then inquire if there's any members of the public with questions or comments for that application. And then I will open the questions to my fellow committee members, at which point we may or may not decide to take an action on the application. If there is any action taken on an application, those are recommendations that go to the full board, and the full board will decide at the meeting on Wednesday, October 20th, also via Zoom. And with that, I will hand it over to Will to do the technical aspect.
Hi, welcome everyone. If this is your first time joining us for one of CB8's virtual committee meetings, you'll notice that you're muted and you're going to remain muted throughout the meeting, except for whenever the committee chair, Abraham, calls on you. Following each agenda item, anyone from the public who wishes to speak can do so by going to the participants button at the bottom of the screen. You'll find a reactions icon, or you'll find a raise hand button there. Press the raise hand button under the reactions icon if you would like to be called on and recognized by Abraham to speak on a topic. Only press that button once. If you press it a second time, your hand will go back down. And make sure you're pressing the button that says raise hand, not the wave or the thumbs up. Those will disappear and we will miss that. If you're calling in from the phone, it's *9 to raise your hand, and then it'll be *6 to unmute. And be on the lookout for a prompt asking you to confirm unmuting once Abraham calls on you. The chat is available for technical support if you're having any problems with Zoom. It is not available to either the co-chair or any of the presenters, or the chair or any of the presenters. They will never see those chats. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you'll want to go to the participants section to find the raise hand button there. And finally, please do not wave or raise your actual hand. We may not be able to see you and we may miss you. If you have any problems, you can always chat myself or Mohima. We're here to give any technical support.
Great. And Well, before we get started, I want to just make sure I have all the committee members present. I'm seeing myself, Kaz, Marco, Rami, Russell, and Barbara, and Barry.
You also have Evan Meyerson. Oh, and Mrs. Brown. Did you get Mrs. Brown?
I did not, but I will. There she is. Okay.
If we missed you, raise your hand real quick.
Okay, so we have 9 by my count. If there is someone that I missed, let us know. Okay, so with that said, we will kick off with the agenda. I will start with the first item on the agenda, which is the application by Woolman Park Partners, Great Performances, Inc. Do we have the applicant for this topic?
Go ahead and raise your hand if you're presenting on this item.
Woolman Partners.
Oh, there we go. David.
Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
And I think, did Steph raise her hand too?
Yeah, we have a few people who will be just going through our presentation.
Okay, great. So tell us your name and then feel free to just walk us through the application. Thank you so much for being here.
Great. No, thank you for having us. My name is David Gould. I'm the Chief Diversity and Impact Officer with Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment and the Chief Diversity Officer for Woolman Park Partners. A few of my colleagues will be presenting. So why don't we just do introductions as we pass it off just to keep things going. Okay. Steph, do you have the ability to share your screen with the presentation?
I've requested it.
Got it.
You guys can go. You can present now.
As soon as the slides pop up, I'll get into it. There we go. Thanks, Will.
You know what? I'm going to have Susan share. I'm not sure what you guys can see here.
We're seeing just the PowerPoint, but not the full screen.
Are you seeing slides on the side or the slideshow?
Side.
All right, I'm going to have Susan share it.
Susan, we're still seeing the slides. If we could zoom in, we can just get going that way. I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
Susan, you can click slideshow at the top. Start from the beginning. Yep.
All right, looks like it's not cooperating. I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. Susan, if you have the ability to zoom in some, we're still looking at the slides. That would just allow everybody to make sure they see the slides. Thank you, that's awesome. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is David Gould, representing Woolman Park Partners. We're here to present an application for Woolman Rink, which is located at the southern end of Central Park. And I'll just provide an overview by saying our goal for Woolman is really to make it as inclusive and welcoming as a place as possible for all New Yorkers, and also to leverage it as an opportunity to promote economic opportunity and celebrate diversity and inclusion through the ongoing operations and programming of the rink. And we're really excited about this opportunity. And again, thank you for your time for listening to the application here tonight. We can go to the next slide, Susan. Susan, if we can go to slide 3. We're still looking at the slides. Awesome. So Woolman Park Partners is comprised of 3 organizations: Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment. We operate the Prudential Center in Newark, the owners and operators of some professional sports teams, including the Devils and the 76ers, and really have deep roots in programming and operating ice rinks, including an NHL arena and practice rink. We're also comprised of related companies, which I'm sure many folks are familiar with, given their presence in New York City, as well as Equinox. We all came together because as the RFP for Woolman was put out, we were trying to think of who would be some good people to partner with. And one thing that we all really saw as a priority for Woolman is this was an opportunity to give back to the city. We did not see this as a profit-seeking opportunity. And as we were looking for different partners to work with on the application, we're the only 3 organizations that we spoke with that were willing to do this without seeking a profit, and really just doing this at cost and really, again, as an opportunity to give back to the city. Our principals are all New Yorkers, and they really saw this as a chance to give back to a space that really means a lot to them. All of their kids grew up skating at Woolman. And so again, we think this is an incredible opportunity. Supplemented by our core partners or some strategic partners, which we think are really going to be integral to making sure that we meet our mission at Woolman Rink. They include Great Performances, Figure Skating in Harlem, Boys Club of New York, Green City Force, Ice Hockey in Harlem, and the YMCA. And for those of you who are familiar with these organizations, hopefully it will make a lot of sense why we wanted to partner with them as I talk more about our goals for the site and what we want to accomplish. Go to the next slide, Suze. So just a really quick overview of the timeline. The RFP was put out by Parks in February. We formed our partnership very quickly and submitted our application towards the end of March. And then ultimately we were announced in July. We were very fortunate that Parks announced their intent to award the project to us. We had some additional reviews from the FCRC and the comptroller. And then on September 1st, the city registered the agreement with us. And now we are rapidly working to get everything we can in order to open on November 15th, which was a commitment that we made when we submitted our application. Next slide. So now I'll just talk a little bit about our approach. And I just want to emphasize that everything that we're going to do at Woolman is really undergirded by these values that I'll walk through. So first and foremost, and I know I mentioned this already, but it's really important that everybody understands that this is a project that we're pursuing, not to make a profit, but really to make a difference in New York City. So any net proceeds that we generate through the operations of the rink will go back to our community partners, which I referenced on a previous slide. They will go to the improvements of Woolman Rink, or they will go back into the park. So nothing is coming back to us. No net proceeds are coming back to us. We really want to maximize revenue so that we can make those investments in these critical spaces and organizations within our city. Next slide. And then in terms of the overall values that we think about as we go into the ongoing operations and programming of the site, there are a few things that are really important to us. One is accessibility. We think about that in 2 ways. One is in terms of physical accessibility, but also financial and economic accessibility. So we want to think intentionally about price points, who has the opportunity to go enjoy programs and skating at Woolman. Inclusivity, which is very similar, is also very important to us. And that's not just about potential economic barriers that we can break down to get into the rink, but also like what is the feel and aesthetic and sort of culture and vibe at Woolman Rink. We want to make sure that we're celebrating different cultures, people from different backgrounds. We're very aware that ice skating is not necessarily traditionally viewed as the most inclusive and diverse sport and activity. And so we really need to be intentional that New Yorkers understand that regardless of what borough you're from, regardless of your background, this is a place for you and there are things here for you to come and enjoy. Third is economic opportunity. We understand that Woolman is a really iconic space, one of the most iconic spaces in New York City, and we'll have an opportunity not only to provide opportunities for economic growth through the businesses that we work with and vendors that we work with, but also through workforce. We're really focused on making sure we're sourcing from our community partners to hire for jobs at Woolman, and then also provide exposure for up and coming entrepreneurs and chefs from across the city through events and things like that at Woolman. And then the final piece is sustainability. We know that a lot of the materials and the equipment at Walnut is outdated, and we're thinking intentionally about our operations of how we can make sure that Walnut is as sustainable and economically friendly as possible. And then wrapped around all of this is we feel that the groups that we've brought together that comprise Walnut Park Partners really have tremendous expertise and resources and an operational prowess that will allow us to realize these goals. We think that we are, and the reason that we were chosen the best group to run Walnut Rink is because we are putting the community first. We're very collaborative, not just across our groups, but also with our community partners and different folks in the community that we want to work with. That operational prowess will allow us to be agile and pivot when needed. And it also provides us with a lot of resources that we can bring to bear to make upgrades to the rink and operate it on an ongoing basis. And then lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about what will actually be going on at Walnut, both in the winter and summer months. We're looking at a programming mix that, again, we want to use to maximize the opportunity for people to come and enjoy whatever's going on at Walnut. So that will include free community events. That will include community activities through programs, for example, summer camp or photography courses that we're working on with our community partners. Community ticketed events like film festivals or food festivals. And then there will be some private events that we want to leverage to generate the revenue that will allow us to invest in the rink. So we're investing millions of dollars to upgrade the facilities at Walnut, and those are the things that are going to allow us to generate the revenue to make those things happen. And with that, I will turn it over to Liz and Melba, who are hopefully on the call. Yeah, I see Liz and Melba on the call. They may not be able to unmute, but if we could give them the ability to unmute, Liz Newmark and Melba Wilson. There we go.
Second for Liz.
Thank you. Melba, you're there?
I'm here.
Okay. We're united in deliciousness for Central Park. So I will start on the boring side and Melba will end on the mouth-watering side. So I'm Liz Newmark, the founder and CEO of Great Performances. And believe it or not, we just celebrated our 40th anniversary. We're a catering, hospitality, and special event company serving the New York community in a wide range of settings and event sizes. We got our first liquor license in 2002, and in the almost 20 years since, we have licenses at locations all around the city. I think you might be familiar with the ones in your neighborhood or our neighborhood. Summer Stage, our newest one, the Plaza Hotel Banquet Suite since 2008, and Asia Society since 2013. In addition, we hold licenses in the Bronx at Wave Hill, in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Academy of Music and Brooklyn Museum, and other places in Manhattan include the Apollo, Signature Theater, and Jazz at Lincoln Center right on the other side of the park. We've also obtained licenses to operate high-end amenity spaces for real estate companies, including Silverstein Properties and Trinity Church. We work in countless venues, homes, outdoor spaces, parks, doing festivals, concerts, dinners, just about every kind of celebration you can imagine. And having our liquor license is a big responsibility that we value and we take very seriously. It's allowed us to grow our business over the many years. Tips training is a critical responsibility for all our managers. And as you know, a requirement for all our staff. We are laser focused on doing it right. We drill protocols around ID procedures, recognizing intoxication, dealing with individuals in a safe and expedient way. Our commitment is to our communities, our staff, our hosts, and the venues we partner with, and to our own reputation. At Walnut, we have really first-class partners with Related, Equinox, and HSBE. Their experience with multiple locations and venues probably dwarfs ours, but we're on the same page when it comes to operating practices. We all share a commitment to our host communities, yourselves, and bring that diligence to Wallman Rink. You know, I grew up skating and every Sunday at Wallman, and the opportunity to operate the food and beverage there just fills me and all my colleagues with such enormous pride. And it also comes with an overwhelming sense of responsibility to our neighbors and our partners that we will uphold with vigilance. So, like I said, boring part, but Melba.
Hi, Liz. Hi to everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us on and giving us this opportunity to present. My name is Melba Wilson. I am born, bred, and buttered in the village of Harlem. One of the most wonderful things about WPP is that we are all New Yorkers who are dedicated to this city and who love the city endlessly. Liz and I collectively, as she says, we are united in deliciousness, and that we truly are. We have over, Liz, I'm gonna say 70 years pretty much in this industry, and I'm not telling your age, and I'm definitely not telling mine. But this is an industry that we know totally like the back of our hand. But most importantly, it's an industry that we're extremely passionate about. To have the opportunity to partner with the partners that we have, HSBE, Equinox, and Great Performances is an opportunity that I really wish that I had. So I think our ability to bring in a diverse group of chefs, to teach people from food and finance, high school, ICE, and the different various organizations in the 5 boroughs of this city, I think it's gonna be memorable, but it's also gonna open up doors for people who, like me 20, 30 years ago, that weren't available to us. The food is going to represent the melting pot that our city truly is. It's gonna be affordable and it's gonna be delicious. And it gives us an amazing opportunity to really practice what we preach. As we say in this city, it is a melting pot, but to have someone walk in to Wallman Rink to skate and to see food that represents their community and their culture is going to be amazing. So again, I'm super excited to be a part of this. And I look forward to working with you guys hopefully soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
As you've noted from my colleagues, we have a vision for Wallman Rink. We see it as a welcoming place, it's accessible to all. And again, all of the net proceeds will go back into the park and or be reinvested into the facility or the benefit of our community partners. We see Wallman Rink as a jewel of Central Park, and we intend to make it an inclusive space. And it's why we're investing so heavily in the venue overall. Next slide, Susan. We've committed $7 million plus in capital improvements to improve the facility from head to toe. As you'll see, we were handed the venue in September. And since that time, we've been working tirelessly to take it from a venue that was in serious disrepair and turn it into a world-class venue that our patrons, especially New Yorkers, deserve. Some of the capital improvements that we are proposing are noted here. Again, that's $7 million in capital improvements. Next slide. Prior to our operation of the space, there was one ancillary space. With our new vision, we'll include the addition of ticketing kiosks to mitigate long lines, a new entrance for patrons, additional concessions, which you can see noted here, a Zamboni shed to protect our Zambonis, a pavilion / lounge on the east side of the rink, and upgrades to the overlook space. We'll keep going through just a few of the renderings that we see. This is the overlook tent as we imagine it. You've heard from Melba, who is has been kind enough to lend us an outpost of her Harlem jewel. So we'll have a taste of it right here in New York. And who knows, maybe we'll even get a few royals to come down. They tend to like Melbas. I'm really proud specifically that for the first time in history, Woman Rink will be a truly ADA and accessible venue with the addition of this ADA elevator, which we'll call our arrival beacon. Another value add is that it'll be tall enough for people to be able to find us. So Central Park visitors will be able to find Woman Rink quite easily. Here you'll see our East Pavilion, otherwise known as our S'mores Lounge, which will provide us with additional seating for guests, great sight lines for skate viewing, and additional event space, yet another additional event space which we can activate. We'll be making upgrades to our venue cafe. As I've mentioned before, we'll be adding additional concessions, which you'll see in our next slide. And all of these improvements will create a welcoming cultural commons in Woman Rink, offering a really synergistic blend of community-first programming and ticketing events all year long. So why are we here? Let's cut to the chase. We are here to ask for your support. Ideally, we'd like to open our doors with a liquor license in hand. With the capital improvements that we're making, we're hoping that with our programming, coupled with the addition of the sale of liquor, we'll be able to reinvest in our community at a faster rate and reinvest in the community at a faster rate. We are aware that we're working under an unusually compressed timeline since getting our event license in September, but we're working under those time constraints, and it's kind of why we're here and asking you. As mentioned, Woolman Park Partners is planning to apply for a year-round on-premise tavern license. However, alcohol will only be served at Parks approved special events. We have absolutely no intention of serving alcoholic beverages 7 days a week, and will only do so with Parks approval. We are happy to enjoy the support of NYC Parks in this endeavor, as well as the support of the Central Park Conservancy. And again, they do support our application for a premises, a full license on our premises. All events, regardless of event type, will end between 10 p.m. and 12 p.m., no later than an hour prior to Parks close. It's important to mention that we are not located within 500 feet of any other establishments selling liquor, nor are we located near any schools or places of worship within 200 feet. You'll see in our next slide that we are proposing to have bars, our added concessions, which may sell liquor in 3 different locations, one on our overlook tent near Melba's, one inside of our clubhouse at the cafe, and one on the west side of the building next to our Zamboni shed. It's important to mention that you can't go off the ice and go straight to a bar. So I'll talk a little bit about our protocols in the next few slides. These are just maps that outline the specific spaces and sizes that we anticipate for bars with your blessing. And it's important to mention that those ancillary spaces that we're talking about will also allow us to operate the rink and enable us to have a more COVID-safe environment. Our programming mix is mission-driven and community-centered, providing something for all audiences. We believe that a robust and intentional programming strategy is essential to ensuring that Woman Rink is engaging, well-trafficked community space during ice season and beyond. On any given night, we expect 1,500 to 2,000 skaters and viewers, and this is in line with historical numbers. We don't anticipate that our additional spaces nor the sale of alcoholic beverages will drive higher attendance. Our new hospitality structures will allow for more simultaneous events, which will result in increased revenues for reinvestment in the community and the property. It's also important for us to note that the option to sell alcohol will bolster community reinvestment. Life cycle events such as bar mitzvahs, weddings, birthdays, retirement parties, corporate events, and not-for-profit catered events held in separated event spaces will not always be accessible to the general public. Rather, they'll be layered on top of our regularly scheduled programming, but privatized. We anticipate 10 to 12 of those a week, and it's important to note that the capacity for the overwhelming majority of those events will be under 200, with the majority being closer to 25 to 50 attendees, which are the capacities of some of those ancillary spaces I mentioned before. Anticipated ticketing events that are open to the community will comprise of things like esports and holiday fairs and live TV watch parties, perhaps silent discos, movie nights, and film festivals. We anticipate an average of 3 to 5 of those a week, and the capacity for those will be a little higher, with them being closer to 500 plus. Again, all of those events are subject to Parks approval, so we're working in concert with Parks. We will deliver alcohol service safely and securely with the employment of a security plan. Liz mentioned our safe and responsible liquor service plan, but it's important for us to note that there'll be full screening, including bag and mag checks for all attendees at ingress locations. We'll have limitation on bag sizes. We'll have visual screening of all patrons to ensure that no one is admitted to Woolman Rink that's under the influence. We have a comprehensive CCTV system that we're building out that will monitor all events and all patrons at all times. We'll have an appropriate incident response team staffing to mitigate violations of our facility code of conduct. We've already been in talks with Central Park NYPD precinct on perimeter and facility management. My dog, for immediate response. He wants to be in on the presentation. My apologies. We talked to the NYPD about an increased presence to ensure crowd flow and crowd egress so that there's no one that's hanging out in the park upon egress. And we'll have them deployed as needed throughout and on the premises and around the premises of the rink. Yeah. More than anything else, we're committed to being a consistent resource to Community Board 8 throughout the entire application process. We want to work as partners with you and in lockstep. I'm going to be the main point of contact. I believe in accountability. I'm a proven operator who's run historic venues in New York City in the past. And we want to make sure that we're communicative with Community Board 8. We'll do that in a number of ways, including but not limited to a monthly newsletter that we send out to you all that'll let you know what events are coming. It'll let you know what time they'll start, what time they'll end, how many anticipated attendees and the like. Like I said, I believe in accountability. I want to hear from you. I want to work with you. And I think that you guys know the neighborhood better than we ever could. So we'll be looking to collaborate with you directly. Bring me your ideas. Tell me what you're thinking. We're partners now, so you'll be seeing a lot of me.
Great.
Lastly, we see this as our chance to give back to the city. We love New York City. We see Woolman Rink as quintessentially New York. As I said before, we're happy to enjoy the support of Central Park Conservancy and NYC Parks in our request for a state liquor license. So we humbly request the support of Community Board 8 as we endeavor to procure a license from State Liquor Authority. We're grateful for your time today, and now we'll open up for any questions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for Steph and the entire team. Very thorough, in-depth presentation. Really appreciate it. And I, for one, am quite excited about what's to come. So with that, I will see a hand up. So taking questions from members of the public. So I will start with Judy.
Thank you very much for the comprehensive presentation, Steph and your teammates. Um, what happens with the ice skating rink during the summer? I mean, there is no ice skating, correct?
Right.
That's correct. Steph, you want to take that?
Sure, yes, we'll have a number of ticketed and community-centric events. We'll have a whole host of event activities such as roller skating will probably be central to our programming. So we hope that people will be skating year-round at Woolman Rink. We want there to be community gardens. We're hoping for a whole host of different kinds of events. It'll be a little bit more diversified than it's been in the past with the installation of Victoria Gardens. But it'll be an extensive programming mix.
Thank you. And we really appreciate your fixing up the rink because it really does need a lot of work. So I can only say on behalf of the community, thank you very much.
Judith, it's our pleasure. Thank you.
Great seeing you again, Judy.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna see if there's any other hands from the public. I don't see any, but last call. If not, then I will go to Russell.
Motion to approve.
Wonderful. I will second that. Barry?
Yes, good evening. I'd like you to thank you very much for the presentation that you made this evening. I'd like to invite you to the November meeting of the Parks Committee, which I co-chair with Tricia Mamura, to have a more detailed and dig deep into what you're doing in the park for the park. And that will be the proper venue for that kind of presentation. We'll be reaching out to you with an invitation to come to that meeting on the second Thursday in November. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you for the invitation, Barry.
Cause?
As you can unmute.
Yeah, thanks. You're applying for a liquor license now. Was there a liquor license there before?
Steph, do you have that one?
She's on mute.
Steph.
Please excuse my dog who is acting a fool now. No, there was not previously a liquor license on the property.
So based on SLA workings, you won't be getting one till about March or April of next year. So the winter is really gone.
Could you repeat that? My apologies.
No, based on how the SLA works, they take about 6 months or so. So by the time you get it, you won't be getting a license till spring of next year.
Rob, I'll let you jump in on
Yeah,
that.
let me jump in. Hey, Rob Bookman, good to see everybody again. Even if it's this way, I know you've been seeing Max mostly the last couple of years. Hey, Barry, how are you? Under normal circumstances, that would be true, but the SLA has been able to, for iconic locations, been able to move applications faster, especially when there's community board support. And we certainly intend on asking them, given the tight time frame here, where the contract wasn't even approved, and we weren't approved until September. So, and we needed to come to you first. And would have, even if we didn't need to, just out of respect. So we will be meeting with the SLA, hopefully as quickly after tonight as possible, assuming we get your approval. And we will be imposing upon them to move this application along much faster so that we can be fully licensed before the year is out. We will probably also ask them to approve a series of one-day special permits for some events that might already be booked, for November, which we might be too early to have the actual license. So we intend on trying to move very quickly on this.
Well, that's good to hear. Maybe you can get the SLA to do it for everybody.
Only if they're my clients.
We'll work on
it.
So sorry, when's the hearing date? Is the hearing date after our full board meeting?
What hearing date?
Your SLA, do you have a date with them?
No, we
Okay.
intend, we're going to have a meeting with them. We wanted to hear from you first, and then we will be reaching out to them and asking they do have what's called a hardship procedure. We intend to avail ourselves of that hardship procedure. The hardship here being that it wasn't like we were sitting around for 6 months, not getting around to doing the application. We just got the contract. It's a city property. It's iconic. And we think it's important to support the all this wonderful programming and improvements that they get us the alcohol license as quickly as possible.
Okay, but if we pass a resolution in the full board on October 20th, that's suffices for your purposes in terms of timing.
I mean, we will meet with them if we can get a committee recommendation, before then we will reach out to Liquor Authority with the committee recommendation.
Got it. Okay.
No, but I'd rather not wait till the 20th. If that's when you meet, that's when you meet, but as fast as possible would be helpful.
Okay.
But if you approve us with your permission, we will say that we appeared before the committee. We were approved by a vote of whatever. It's going to the full board on October 20th.
We can probably get you a letter too.
Yeah. If you, Rod, if you just send Will an email, we can an official request just so it's on the books. Then we can send you a committee recommendation summary so that you can go.
That would be excellent.
Very cool.
That would be excellent. Very kind of you.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it'll still go to the full board, but at least you have the indicia that we're supportive.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll call the question then.
Okay. Marco did have his hand up, so I don't want to skip people. So Marco, unless you wanted to call the question as well.
Thank you. Because when you speak, so in one day or in 1 week, how many people do you expect to have in this facility? Can anybody answer the question?
Sure. So we anticipate anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 attendees every 2 hours if we do our jobs correctly.
Do you, I don't know if I understand correctly, you said that there is one section, please forgive me if I'm saying wrong, that you are planning to build?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Marco? I apologize.
One section, when I saw in the renderings on the right side, I saw a new place. That's what I hear.
Yes.
Probably correct me. So that's what
Yes.
you're planning to build?
Yes, so we're proposing to build what we're calling our East Pavilion, or what we hope will be our s'mores lounge. It'll be additional seating. It'll be an additional ancillary event space, and allow for folks to be a little bit more spread out. It won't contribute to an increased attendance. We still anticipate our attendance will be pretty in line with what it's been in past years. We're just proposing new spaces for allowed flexibility for our patrons.
Okay. On the next question, I'm gonna make my statement later, but my other question is, do you have a certificate of operation for this facility for more than between 1,500 to 1,000 people? And this is for the attorney, I guess. You should ask, you should know that the answer.
You mean certificate about a C of O?
No, certificate of operation. No, you don't have it? Okay.
Not my area. I'm the liquor council.
Oh, okay. Well, the point is, we are hurrying up to approve something that first, this is a landmark place. And as a landmark has to be reviewed for, especially the new construction, it has to be reviewed by the landmark commissioner and they give you the okay. So you gotta go and come to the community board, to the landmark commission. One. Secondly, in order to operate any facility, you must have a certificate of operation by the building department. So myself, I found it in a serious problems in this application that I cannot recommend something that is going to affect the iconic park, one, and two, I cannot recommend something that is unlawful if you don't have a certificate of operation.
Okay, thanks, Marco, for your input there. Okay, so Ms. Brown, I'll let you speak, and then we have the question has been called, so then we will go to that.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me? I'm having problems with my computer. Can you
Yes.
hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I want to say that I support this application, and I'm glad to have them as our neighbors, and especially with Melba being there. So if there's any additional needs that they would need with a COO, perhaps Marco or somebody in the board office can work with them and guide them in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Ms. Brown. Thank you.
So with that, the question has
We
been
did,
called.
I'm sorry, we did have a response to Mr. Marco. Greg was raising his hand.
Okay.
If he could be permitted to speak respectfully.
Greg?
Hi, thank you. And thank you, board and the public. So the certificate of occupancy or of operation, I'm not sure exactly what that particular permit is, but the place of assembly we will have in place by opening. That's the permit you're looking for. But we'd love to work with you if there's other in landmarks we also are working with as well through the parks approval process.
Great. So just to understand, so you will have the public assembly, which will allow the increased occupancy or the more than normal occupancy for the venue.
It's not increased actually.
Yes, no, understood. But as opposed to like a standard liquor license for a restaurant or something for the more than, what's the number? One.
Right. It'll be a place of assembly permit for
Correct.
the interior of the clubhouse. Yes.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So with that, I'm going to ask that all hands be put down on the question has been called. So this is a motion to approve. And if you're voting no, not voting for cause, please raise your hand. Otherwise, it will go down as a yes to the motion to approve. Okay, so I'm seeing just Marco's hand. So Marco, I will put you down as a no. To clarify, Marco, are you a no?
That is correct, but Mr. Chair, I had to remind you that the last session we have a brief of parliament procedure, and once the person spoke, cannot call the question. So far from my point of view, it shouldn't be called the question. However, I'm going to accept that, but that we have to follow the parliament.
Thank you, Marco.
1 and 2. The other issue is
and also, Marco, if you're going to follow the procedures, then there is no more commentary. So Will, can you please mute participants so we can continue? Thank you. So that's going to go down as an 8-1 approval. You can submit your request for the committee summary.
And Abraham, just so the record shows, it's you, yourself, Abraham, Barbara Rudder, Barry Schneider, Cause, Evan Meyerson, Marco Tamayo, Mrs. Brown, Rami Siegel, and Russell Squire as the board members still present.
Is that 9? Yes, Barbara. Yep. That's what I'm showing. Okay, so that's an 8-1. Okay, great. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
We're
you.
very grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And
Thank
We
good
look
luck.
forward to working with you
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so with that, we will continue with the agenda and we will move to the next item, which is item 1B. This is, do I have the representative for Vero?
Go ahead and unmute and just say your name, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jude Marovic, representing Vero.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. How are you?
Good, thank you. So I come before you today. I have a liquor license in place, and we had operations on 77th and 2nd Avenue. If you're familiar with the area, you will notice that there is a lot of empty storefronts and empty apartment buildings. The management company that does hold these properties is looking to demolish them and bring up high rises. So I am seeking to move my operations to another location. I was fortunate enough to find a space on 2nd Avenue between 60th and 61st. So we're looking to basically operate the same type of business that we have. It is a wine bar with a wide selection of wines, also liquor and beer. We have a full menu ranging from meat and cheese plates to pasta dishes, salads, paninis. In terms of music, There would be recorded music that would be playing. And just a little bit background on myself. I do also have a full-time job. My profession is accounting and credit management. I do work for Marc Jacobs. So I will be present there during the evenings and on the weekends. And I also do have my manager with me, that is Marco.
How are you, Marco Medic? How are you guys?
Hi there. Great, thank you. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, it's going to be the same operation that you currently have now, just down at the new location.
Correct. Everything is going to be exactly the same. Correct.
Great. Okay, so first I will inquire if there's any members of the public with questions. Judy, this is your stomping grounds.
Oh, okay. I think firstly, the application that he filled out said that it was 100% food and 100% drink. So the first question is, could you please clear that up?
We're going to have all the food, like meat, cheese, fishes, like everything. We need to, I don't understand the question.
So I think what Judy's asking is, so the question when it asks for the food drink ratio is, what is the percentage, the allocation of sales that are food versus sales that are alcohol? So
so it would be, I guess, 50-50, depends on a like daytime, like a nighttime, so 50-50.
Okay, thank you.
My next question is, I assume that you're not planning to do anything on the sidewalk since there's a bus stop right outside.
No, we will not.
Okay, next question. Are you planning on opening those glass windows in the front of the store?
We think we do, but we can add some wood to make open windows for fresh air.
Because that would make the whole front of it open. And I believe your hours on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday were until 4 p.m. And you're in even though there's a lot of traffic from the bridge, that's an exceedingly residential area. You've got people living above you that whole block, and across the street from you are all residents. Matt Bondi's father lives right across the street, for those board members that remember Matt. So open windows and open until 4 in the morning.
No,
I think that's a problem.
we all respect, ma'am. We have also same thing, 77 open windows, but we close by 10 p.m. They're closed, so we never leave it open after 10 p.m.
Yep, that's you. That's what I was going to say. All establishments, and we will add it as a stipulation, doors and windows are to be closed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we are aware of that. We do it all the time.
Okay, so then I'm concerned about the music now that you're having open windows. What kind of music are you going to have, and how loud will it be?
It will be very light music because we like people to have conversation during dinner and their glass of wine. So, and the music will be more focused by the bar, not by the doors and by the windows. So we'll be very light music and away from the doors and windows.
Okay, well, we welcome you to the neighborhood. We wish you the best of luck. Just curious, have you folks signed a lease for that spot yet?
Yes.
Okay, well, the best of luck to you.
Thank you. Hope to see you, sir. Hope to see you there.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Judy. Okay, so going to committee members, I have Marco first in line.
A motion to approve.
Okay, great. Thank you. Cause?
Yeah, I'm just curious. You're going to be running the same operation as you were on 2nd and 78th. Is that correct?
77, yes.
Right. So you're going to have outside music, you're going to have extra seats on the sidewalk, and you're going to have the doors open past 10 o'clock.
No.
Because this is what you had on 77th. And that's been going on for many years. And we've had complaints there, and you've done nothing.
So the sidewalk setup for this location would not permit for sidewalk seating. So that will not be happening.
Okay, so we can put that in the resolution that you will have no sidewalk seating.
That's correct, because the reason being is that there is a bus stop in front of it, so there would not be an opportunity to allow for it.
But as we all know, walking around, everybody's putting seats on the sidewalk, whether it's allowed or not. So we have your guarantee that you will not be putting seats on the sidewalk.
That is correct. It would not create a comfortable experience for any customer if we were to even put one.
And you will, the 4 a.m. is also a concern. And you will also stipulate that you will have no exterior speakers.
There will be, correct, there will be no exterior speakers.
Okay. And the 4 a.m., are we debating the 4 a.m. closure, Abraham?
I mean, I would, if that's what they had at their existing venue, I would keep it, and it is on the avenue. So that is consistent with other avenue proprietors. So
depending on what others want, but I'm fine.
Correct. Okay. Thanks, Cause. Mrs. Brown.
Yes, I have a problem with the 4 a.m. hours. So that needs to be addressed. And also in the stipulation, did costs address the doors being open after 10, or was that addressed at all?
We did address that. That's a standard requirement and will be a stipulation.
Okay. Well, the problem for me is the hours of 4 a.m. That's a real issue. So the hours need to be addressed, because we're talking about 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. Friday through Saturday, and Sunday to 2 a.m. and Thursday to 2 a.m. That's a real problem for me. It's an issue. So I think we need to discuss that, or put in the stipulation that the hours must be changed, and we can discuss it now if they're willing to do.
Do you have a proposal? And then ask the applicant if they would consider that?
Yes. I would recommend from Monday to Thursday that they close at midnight, because it is a residential neighborhood. And on Friday and Saturday, I would recommend to 2 a.m. as opposed to 4 a.m. And for Sunday as well, to be midnight, because people have to go to work the next day, and they don't need to hear all that noise.
Jude, do you have thoughts and feelings on that?
Ma'am, with all respect to you, we do this for many years. We never had any complaint from neighbors. We respect our neighbors, and we do very well. We've been taking care of music to be loud, doors to be closed, and our customers, like most people, like 80% of females, who are not drunk or alcoholic, they have a glass of wine, they're always quiet and polite, and we have never issue with the neighbors in our street. So another thing, you have other bars, restaurants in the neighborhood that open till 2 or 4 a.m. So it's not only about us being their neighborhood. And on top of our place, it's not residential, it's next door. So, but still, be very considerate of neighborhood. And I live in 63rd and 2nd. I'm very aware of neighborhood, and I work 7 a.m. too. So I would love every neighbor to respect everyone around, because I go to sleep and I wake up early to go to work. I have 2 jobs as well.
I didn't hear anything about a reduction of hours. Was that addressed? Are you going to reduce your hours? And also too, Abraham, are there any complaints on file for 311?
I have not seen any. I have not received or seen anything come to the board office recently on the existing establishment.
Okay. Well, I didn't hear his response to reducing the hours.
Well, if I'm interpreting the Marco's response, it was they would not like to reduce their hours. They would like to keep it as proposed. Is that correct, Marco? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a problem with that, so therefore I can't support this application.
Okay, so we have Russell first, and then Marco.
How would you feel about dialing back the hours on Thursday, but then leaving Friday and Saturday at 4 a.m.? So it would be, since Thursday's a weeknight, you could, instead of going to 4 a.m. on Thursday, you dial that back, but Friday, Saturday. I mean, to me, I'm okay, since they've already had 4 a.m. Friday, Saturday in the past, with leaving that as it is. But I think, maybe making a little earlier on Thursday would address some of the concerns.
Yes, okay, we make you more happy. We do 2 a.m. on Thursdays.
Okay. Mrs. Brown, would that provide you some comfort?
He suggested 3 a.m. on Thursday?
No, it would be 2 a.m. on
2 a.m.
Thursday, and they'll keep the 4 on Friday, Saturday. So it is some movement on their part. Again, you don't have to tell us your vote now, but just that's the current proposal at present. Okay, thank you. And Marco?
Call the question, please.
Okay. Anyone, all those in support of calling the question? Anyone opposed?
So if your hand is up right now, you're opposed to calling the question, but there wasn't a majority.
Okay. So cause you're opposed, okay, thank you. Okay, so this is a motion to approve with the stipulations and with the stipulations of the 10 doors, windows by 10, no sidewalk presence, no outdoor speakers, and then the most recent concession by the applicant, which is Thursdays will be 2 a.m. rather than 4 a.m. So with those conditions, that is raise your hand if you're voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining. Otherwise, you will go down as a yes vote. Okay, so I'm seeing Mrs. Brown, and Mrs. Brown, I'm assuming that's a no vote, correct?
That's correct. No vote.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that's going to go down as an 8-to-1 recommendation of yes. So thank you very much. That will go, all recommendations go to the full board. So I would recommend being at the full board meeting, but right now this committee's recommendation is a yes vote. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much. See you soon.
Okay, so moving along with the applications, do we have the applicant for Terrence Lowenberg? Representative or applicant?
Hi, can you see me?
Yes, hi. Hello.
And we have Terrence here. I see it's just the two of us tonight.
Okay, great. So tell us your names again and then a little bit about your application.
Sure. My name is Phil Dorn. I'm with Pizetsky and Bookman. You guys just saw Rob a few minutes ago with the Woolman Park application. You also see Max all the time, so now you're getting me. With me is Terrence Lowenberg. He is the owner of what will be an upscale Italian restaurant at 808 Lexington. It's a fine dining establishment, white tablecloth, quiet background music only, no TVs, anything like that. Just a small bar in the back with 4 quiet ambient background music, and what I think are pretty reasonable hours, which are noon across the board to midnight across the board. Terrence and his team have experience. They own and operate a hotel in Chelsea, and they're looking to simply parlay that experience with opening this restaurant in what is Terrence's own personal neighborhood in the Upper East Side. With that, I mean, I'll leave it to you guys. They did a decent amount of outreach by speaking to the tenants both in the building and in the adjacent buildings, for which they received a decent amount of support. You guys should have seen those petition signatures that we sent you. And with that, we'll leave it to you.
Great. Thank you, Phil. Terrence, do you want to contribute? I see your hands up. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Can you see me or no?
Yes, we can see you.
No, I have nothing further to say.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. And I will then go to Judy as a member of the public.
Yes, well, your menu looks terrific, and welcome to the neighborhood. I wish you all the success. I was just curious about your entry into the restaurant, if you were making any changes to that or having some kind of ramp, because you have to go down a couple of steps, and it didn't, or at least the pictures from Fig and Olive look that way. Were you planning to do anything to?
At this time, it'll remain similar to how the Fig and Olive operated. It's just, I think, 2 minor steps down. But that.
Would they have any kind of removable ramp if somebody wanted to come with a wheelchair?
We can certainly look into that. We of course want to be not only compliant, but also welcoming to everyone, no matter if they're walking or sitting. So we're happy to look into that.
Yeah, I would suggest that because we have a number of restaurants that have either steps up or steps down because the buildings are very old. And it shouldn't keep people who are in wheelchairs from being able to enjoy.
Absolutely, we agree.
I agree.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. I will now go to my committee member, Marco.
Thank you. I would like to propose a motion. The motion is to approve and then to speak. If somebody second, I will speak.
I see hands. Rami, I thought Rami and Barry are both supportive of or seconding yours. So welcome. Speak.
Okay. The issue what I perceive is right here is the handicap accessible issue. Once you alter the facility, you have to file in the Department of Building. The Department of Building, they will trigger that you must be in compliance with the ADA. So I'm not going to raise this issue. What I'm going to say is you're supposed to file an application and to alter the facility, and DOB will catch you because we are not in that role to hold for that compliance, and DOB will be requesting that compliance. And I don't mind to support this application for that reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Rami?
Call the question.
Great. Okay, so the question has been called. Does anyone oppose or object to having the question called? Okay, so this is a motion to approve. If you're voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, raise your hand. Otherwise, you will be marked down as a yes. Mrs. Brown.
I had my hand raised before Rami asked if the question be called. I'm concerned about the ADA compliance. And if there's a stipulation, I want to stipulate that they be ADA compliant. And if so, then I approve the application. Other than that, it's no.
Happy to stipulate to that.
Say that again, Phil.
We're happy to stipulate it.
Okay, so we're a little out of order, so I apologize for that. But the applicant has agreed to that stipulation for the ADA, which I think is beneficial across the board. So we will include that. And in that case, I'm going to ask for the votes again. Yes, Mrs. Brown is a yes. If there's anyone whose vote has changed with that stipulation, please raise your hand. Otherwise, this will go as a unanimous 9-0 approval recommendation to the board. Okay, thank you very much. Phil and Terrence, thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great. We are up to the last item of the evening. Do I have a representative for item 2A, John and Tony's Pizzeria? This is a 30-day waiver on a renewal application for wine, beer, and cider. Do I have the representative?
If you are representing this organization, please raise your hand or at the very minimum wave at the screen or chat me so that I know you're here.
I think it's Jacinta.
Jacinta? Okay. Go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi, good evening. I'm representing Tony's and John's. We do have the license previously in the address 1097, and we just moved like 4 stores, and we are trying to renew or trying to get the new license for the place. It's really small place. Before we have like 15 tables. Now we have only 6. It's a small place. It's not big.
Okay. So the reason for the waiver is because you didn't get the notice in time because of their change of location, the address. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Judy.
Judy, go ahead and unmute. There you go.
Yeah, I just want to say that I've been here over 50 years, and I think they've been here as long as I have. And it's really a staple of the neighborhood. And we really, really have to support these people. Their food is terrific. If you're in the area, get some takeout. It's really worth it. It's a terrific restaurant. Marco does a terrific job. And I think the community really needs to support them with the mix up in the dates. I don't think we can hold them responsible.
Agreed. Thank you very much, Judy.
For your comment.
Marco?
Thank you so much. I say thank you. Thanks for the comments.
Motion to approve.
Okay, great. I will second cause.
Yeah, call a question and approve them. They've been there
Okay.
forever.
Mrs. Brown, do you have any?
I don't know whether my mouse is not fast enough, but seems that I'm having a problem. The question being called, my hand being raised. Judy, thank you for sharing your comments. I had a couple of questions with regard to the hours. Once again, we're dealing with a 2 a.m., 4 a.m. Is this particular location in a residential area? Would it impact people who go to work? Is there any backyard activity? Are there any doors open? Are there going to be any doors open, etc.? Is there any music? I see that there isn't any music. Could somebody elaborate? Have there been any complaints? So if somebody would provide that information, I certainly would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So this is a renewal application, so they've had those hours for quite some time. There is no outdoor space based on the application, no music as you've noted. There's been no complaints that have come to my attention. Will, I'm assuming you can confirm that for this location.
Okay, well then I can support the application. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, so we have the question called. So hands down, if you're voting, this is a motion to approve on the waiver. If you're voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining, raise your hand. Otherwise, this will go down as a approval. So going once, twice, seeing none. So thank you, Jacinta. This will go as an approval. And again, continue good luck and appreciate your presence in our neighborhood. Great. Okay, so that is all the applications that I have. Judy, do you have some item of new or old business?
Yes, I just wanted to say with regard to the last application, when they were on the corner of 60th Street, they used to be open for years until 4 in the morning. It's been, even when they were there and now in their new place, this is a really, really quiet restaurant. They don't produce any noise or any commotion. It's not anything, they could be open 24 hours a day. It's not anything that the community is going to complain about. There are other places in the neighborhood we could talk about, but not this one.
Thank you, Judy. Cause?
Yeah, what's going on with portable provisions?
Will, have we had anything further from them?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
This is the Alice's Teacup location.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But they're open. Do they have a license, or can we find out what's going on there with them?
Well, we can chat. I'll email you. So
Because
we can
they've been putting us off for several months now.
Yeah, they could be open, but they may not necessarily be serving. So let's dig into that further.
Okay.
Marco.
Thank you. The question is, I don't know if I'm asking the same question that Cole did. It's about the restaurant on 81st Street between 2nd and 3rd. Is that the same place or the same venue or not? Or is different?
Cause, is that the same space? I have to double check.
Yeah, it's what it says.
No, okay. So the issue is right here is they came once and then they stopped. Last month they was on the list and then removed. And today in this meeting again they removed. It's 3 times. According to what we understand, this scenario, we should disapprove this application and open when they are ready. Otherwise, they can step into the liquor license and do whatever they want. So we have been doing in many applications before. If it doesn't show up to the third time, we're supposed to deny this application. And even they're coming back, we're welcome, and we can hear the application.
Well, there's been no communication with them, so we've just been laying them over. Is that right?
Let me check. This is not my committee. I don't oversee it directly. Usually Murat, and then now Mohima is going to be your liaison. So just give me a moment to go into somebody else's inbox and see what happened.
Okay, so while Marco looks on that.
Yeah, they've been coming and putting off and coming and putting off. And the first meeting was very, we had many questions and they were going to come back, but they never did.
Okay, well, we'll look at that. I'm going to go to Rami because you had your hand up. Did you? No? Okay. Who's Faith? Hello, Faith. I see a hand up.
Faith, you can unmute.
Hi, it's Faith Fraser with my monthly question about the outdoor dining noise on 2nd Avenue between 72nd and 73rd. At Will's suggestion, our neighbors and some of us in our building have been calling 311 because we get this continued loud cheering, and it can be on a Thursday, it can be a Saturday, it could be on a Tuesday. I just wonder, are you getting those 311 call notifications?
Well, I'll double check with you, but actually, so I think one of the, if I'm remembering last month, we had said call 311, and if you have the record, you should get a distinct code for each time you make a 311 request. Now, if you have those, if you could forward those on to Will, then that way we can have them and follow up on that would help us, and then we can have a tracker based on that, on those unique codes.
It would be helpful because we just got a notice from our board of the management company actually last week asking us all to please call 311 because everybody's been calling our building management company because it's really getting bad. And also,
now, are you able to ask? Is there a specific venue that's bringing it, or you're not able to kind of?
Oh no, it's two restaurants. We're not sure which one does it each time. It's La Esquina and Mission Ceviche, and we call and see. It's very short. It's like as if somebody's having a football game in the street, and all of a sudden they're cheering for a touchdown. But it can wake you up. And we have kids living in this building, so by the time we report it, of course, it comes back an hour later saying it's closed because it's over. But it's just very frustrating. So our question now is there some kind of regulation for these restaurants as far as music or TVs or something in there? Is it just a noise, a decibel level, or do they have to get a permit if there's live music or piped in music?
So with regards to the noise, it would be the environmental department. I forget if it's DEP or DEP.
DEP.
There is they can come do a decibel reading, but again, they would have to be there when it occurs.
Right. Yeah, we're familiar with that. But when the restaurant has its liquor license, is there? Because I've been listening to these meetings. Is there anything about music as far as when they have their liquor license? Because Mission Ceviche has only been open a few years. They're only been open a few years.
Yes. So on all of the applications, the applicants have to notify us and click off whether or not they're going to have the music, and if so, the type of music, whether it's recorded music or any live music. If there's any live music, there's additional considerations and kind of stipulations that we would have them do. If it's regular recorded music, most restaurants have that.
Right. So how would we find out if they have that part of their liquor license?
We can pull up the application and kind of revisit to see if they had. I'm assuming they probably have regular recorded music. I don't know if I don't recall if there was any live music, and I don't think I've seen live music there.
I thought I saw a jukebox there the other day. That's why I asked. I've tried to go in and ask, and the guy says, "Oh yeah, we're going to be quiet." But I mean, this isn't a residential building, and we're right above this, right above it. So not only inside, but outside. So that's why. Okay, so I should follow up with Will? Are you there,
Yes,
Will?
with the 311s, yes. And so with regards to the outside, you're saying there's also the jukebox outside. There's music that's
No.
Okay.
The noise. We can't
The
always
noise, yes.
tell.
Correct.
We have some friends on 73rd Street between 2nd and 3rd who live on the 5th floor of one of the Bing and Bing buildings. And if their windows open, they also hear the noise because it's sort of loud bursts of noise. The way I can explain is if you're at a football game.
Right. Okay.
I guess
Okay.
we'll keep going. The other question is, I believe you all told us that with the tables outside on next to the curb and also a little space to walk through and also against the restaurant outside, that's allowed as long as there's a pathway, even if it's not, I think it's supposed to be 8 feet for accessibility. Is that right? That's the other question.
There is supposed to be 8 feet clearance for outdoor seatings between the beginning of the sidewalk cafe and the curb.
So they're not actually allowed to be on the curb if they're right next to the curb. Is that correct?
If they're on the sidewalk, yeah, it should be 8 feet clearance to the end of the sidewalk, so that there's still a path of 8 feet for pedestrian traffic.
So what I'm saying is they have tables right along the edge of the curb. Then there's a little bit of a pathway, and then the outside part of the restaurant. It doesn't look like 8 feet, but it's close. But it's very difficult. So that's allowed as long as there's 8 feet. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, as long as there's an 8-foot clearance, then that's what the requirement is.
All right. Well, we'll follow up. I'll get our people to gather our 311s and get them to you, Will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, Mrs. Brown?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Could we put on the application for the applicants a question? Have you had any complaints since your last application? And if so, have they been cured? That's one. And also, could the district office check to see if any of the applicants had any complaints? I remember Larry Parnas.
Mm-hmm.
He used to vigilantly check the complaints and go around to the various restaurants. And as I become stronger, I would like to also do that too. And this would aid me in reaching that goal. Thank you.
Thank you. Cause?
Sure.
Yeah, what about if we have the two establishments come in February or in November to the committee, and we can have them. As far as the tables on the sidewalk, the restaurants were supposed to apply to DOT for both street and sidewalk. Can we find out from DOT if these two establishments applied for the sidewalk seating? And if so, we can clarify that. And as far as the 8 feet, it's supposed to be 8 feet. DOT has done absolutely nothing for the past 18 months. You have to walk single file or on the street especially on 2nd Avenue. And it's getting worse and worse, and DOT is not doing anything. DCA is out of the loop. So anyway, if we can have these two come in next month, we can get it from the horse's mouth.
Okay. Marco again.
But I think you have somebody else, and I'm waiting for an answer from Will, so you can go ahead and talk about it.
To Jay Musco.
Okay. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. Cosmo, it's Joe Musco. How are you?
You have a bit of an echo.
Yeah, because I had a phone nearby. Let
Okay.
me hang the phone up.
Okay.
So I guess a question. Our attorney told us we were on this is Agatha and Valentina. So he said we're applying for a liquor license for our new location across the street from our store on 79th and 1st. And he had said that you had fit us in for tonight.
No.
No.
I do not have you listed
Did you
at all on
flyer?
the.
I'm sorry?
Did you flyer?
Did I what?
Did you put
did
up
you post
flyers for
flyers?
notice of this meeting in your window?
No, I don't think so. No.
Then no, you were not on the agenda.
Oh, so I have to do that first?
Yeah, I think your attorney reached out at the end of last week when we'd already closed for the end of the application period, and I believe that was communicated to your attorney as well earlier today.
Okay, when's the next meeting?
So the next
The
meeting.
second Tuesday of November. The first Tuesday is election day, and our office is closed.
So November 9th would be the next meeting.
Ooh, no way to go before, huh?
Not without. So the reason. So the purpose of the flyering and the posting is so that the community has ample notice of the application and they're able to comment if they wish. So that's the reason for that requirement, and which is also a 30-day notice requirement from the SLA.
Okay, so then I guess we have to do that, and we'll hopefully see you November 2nd then.
November 9th.
November 9th. Hold on, let me write that down. All right.
Thank you very much.
Cosmo Barry, if you're still there, hello. All right, regards
Thank
to
you.
everyone. Thank you
Thanks.
so
Have a
much.
good night.
Appreciate it. You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, Russell.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I will just hold because I know Marco, you're waiting on. Will, did we find any
Yeah,
info
I
on-
have the whole email conversation. If you want, on September 29th, Marat reached out to them to send them the invitation for this meeting with all the materials. Michael Kelly's office, Karen, she responded that day saying thank you. Then today, Marat reached out to remind and give the link to the meeting. Then Michael Kelly's office said thank you. Same person, Karen. A different person named Kat Alexander said that they had postponed, and to which Marat replied that they had received a postponement for the September meeting, but not for the October meeting. That we had not received any other postponement requests, but that it would not be a problem, and that they would be moved to the layover sections for further consideration. I'd like to note that the 30-day notice may need to be filed since the original notice was sent June 7th. And they said, thank you for postponing again. Please let me know if you need a replacement notice.
Okay. So it sounds like there's been communication with their counsel, which is Michael Kelly's office. They are seeking to postpone. I know, Marco, you had suggested that we move to disapprove, but if it's been communicated to them that it was okay to postpone one more time, I would not like to take an action on their application contrary to what the board office said to them. But I think maybe we can communicate to them that we need to take an action by next month, or we will kind of take an action in absentia.
Mohima, whenever you send out the notice to them next month, just please include that information that they need to attend, or there will be a negative action.
Or confirm that they're going to withdraw the applications, because we don't want to just have it pending.
Okay, I'll relay that.
Okay. Marco, does that sound
Okay,
agreeable to you?
thank you. I think that's fine to wait 1 month and next month to make a decision. The other question, respectfully, I'm going to answer. I'm going to raise the issue of the first application. This is a no business now, and I think if the question was called no according with the Robert rules, which is basically called called the question. So relatively, we didn't have no question. No, nobody called the question. Therefore, my question is still valid at that time. And I think is the parliament procedure is extremely important. And Russell, when you were elected, my first question to you was, are you planning to obey the Robert rules? Apparently, no. I think with that comment, I'm going to finish. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay. So
My
Mrs.
motion
Brown.
to adjourn is a privileged motion too, if you want to get into it.
Mrs. Brown.
I second your motion to adjourn.
Okay, great. So we have the motion to adjourn a second. Does anyone oppose adjourning? So raise your hand. Otherwise, we will adjourn. And thank you everyone for attending. Have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Be safe.